The last play. The roar of the crowd was electric that night, a hum that buzzed deep in my bones and kept my heart thundering like a freight train. Under the lights, the field looked surreal, like some holy battlefield where the stakes were higher than just a game. It was the finals, and the college stadium was packed, a sea of faces I couldn't focus on, their cheers blurring into one endless roar. I'd been waiting my whole life for a night like this. As I stood on the line, helmet snug, fingers brushing the turf, I closed my eyes and whispered a little prayer, but not the kind you'd expect. I didn't ask for courage or strength or even victory. No, I was asking for him, Jesus. See, for as long as I can remember, he's been there for me, guiding me, ever since I first started seeing him around the age of 12. Not the Jesus people think they know, somber robes, quiet, serious. No, my Jesus was different. He was a superstar, a legend. Golden hair gleaming, eyes sharp with focus, jaw set like a steel trap. He was the ultimate football player, my idol. I'm not sure when it started or how exactly. People would say it's something about my brain's wiring, schizophrenia, whatever they wanted to call it. But for me, it's always been clear. Jesus was there, urging me forward, his words echoing through my mind in a voice as solid as the whistle on the ref's lips. Tonight was the big one. I'd had my ups and downs over the years, the episodes that worried my coaches, the times I'd zone out in practice, talking to people no one else could see. But all that, it didn't matter. Tonight was my chance to make history. The scoreboard was tied. Last quarter. 4 seconds left. This was it. Last down, last play. The last shot to make my dream come true. The team gathered around me, their faces tight with nerves. My head was pounding, but the pain only made the moment sharper. I looked up at the stands, feeling the crowd's eyes on me, and that's when I saw him. Jesus. He was right there in the stands, cool as ice, looking down at me with that familiar half smile, like he knew something I didn't. He raised a hand pointing to the end zone, and I knew exactly what he was telling me. This was it. My moment. My destiny. Got it, I whispered under my breath, barely aware of the play being called in the huddle. The pounding of my teammates' pads as we lined up for the last snap. The quarterback barked the signals, and everything happened in slow motion. I saw the ball leave his hands, spiraling through the air, a perfect arc straight for the end zone. I could hear Jesus' voice, clear as a bell, urging me on. This is it, son. This is your moment. Take it. I felt weightless as I leapt, arms outstretched, fingers reaching for the ball. For a second, I felt like I was soaring, the air cold against my face, the ball right there, like it was meant to be mine. This is what it's all for, I thought, heart bursting with something bigger than myself. But then, like the crack of a gunshot, the world went dark. I felt a flash of pain so sharp it was like being hit by lightning. My legs smashed into something solid, the sound of bones snapping ringing out loud. Brutal. A shotgun blast that seemed to echo through the stadium. The helmet of a player from the other team had collided with my knee, taking me out midair. I hit the ground hard, but the pain was so overwhelming that it was beyond anything I'd ever known. I didn't just hear the crack. I felt it, deep in my bones, as if my whole body had shattered. The crowd's cheer turned to gasps, a horrified silence settling over the field as they took in the scene. Medics rushed to my side, and somewhere in the haze of pain and confusion, I could see the lights blurring above me, felt the chill of the cold air pressing in as the adrenaline drained out of me. The pain was all-consuming, an ocean that drowned out everything else until finally I blacked out. I woke up in a hospital bed, the sterile smell of antiseptic filling my nose. Machines beeped softly around me, their sounds monotonous, as if trying to lull me into some kind of surrender. My body felt heavy, distant, and then I noticed it. My legs weren't moving. A doctor came in, his face a practiced mask of sympathy. He explained it all, the shattered bones, the severed nerves, the lifelong sentence. I would never walk again. I would never play again. My dream, my reason for being, was over. The weeks that followed were a dark blur. Anger, frustration, denial. I'd lost everything I'd worked for. My friends tried to comfort me, my coaches stopped by, but I couldn't look them in the eyes. They saw me as a broken thing now, a fallen player, a hero brought down by one terrible choice. And sometimes, late at night, I felt that familiar voice, Jesus' voice, urging me on. "You're still here for a reason, son," he'd say, gentle but firm, and each time it brought me a small shred of peace, a new calling. Years later, I found myself in front of a class of wide-eyed kids. It was my turn to share, to tell my story. They wanted to know about the tackle, the accident, the reason I rolled up to class in a wheelchair now, my football dreams buried beneath years of therapy and acceptance. "You see, kids, I thought I knew everything," I told them, my voice steady, the words familiar by now. "I thought that all I needed was a dream and the grit to make it happen. I thought Jesus was on my side, that he wanted me to go all the way, win it all. But sometimes life has other plans." They listened, eyes wide, soaking in the story like it was some kind of holy scripture. They saw me as a legend, a hero who'd been broken but who'd risen up in some strange way, a lifer. "Sometimes we chase things that seem larger than life," I went on. "Sometimes the voices in our heads aren't guiding us. They're steering us into places we don't understand. And that's okay. But you've got to remember to keep your head, to listen carefully to what's real and what's not." The kids nodded, and I could see the glimmers of understanding in their faces. They knew, even at their age, that life was full of curveballs, full of dreams that didn't always pan out. As the bell rang and the kids filed out, a small boy with dark eyes came up to me. "Mr. Lawson, are you sad that you didn't win the game?" I looked down at him, smiling softly. "Sometimes, yeah. But then I remember what I've got now." "You all," I said, nodding at the doorway, where the last of the kids were leaving. "And that's enough for me." As he left, I leaned back, the creak of the wheelchair the only sound in the empty classroom. Outside, I could hear the distant cheers from the college stadium, the crack of helmets, the thud of feet hitting the ground. I closed my eyes, feeling it all wash over me. That same thrill, that same call to glory. But it was different now, tempered by the years, softened by the lessons I'd learned the hard way. In the end, I'd found a new dream, a quieter one, sure, but a dream that was every bit as real. I was still playing the game, in my own way, and as the stadium lights flickered on in the distance, I knew that this too was enough.